anyone here working with a product-led or freemium model?
Or any kind of product-led, like free trial,
put your hand
or...
up.
2? Only 2?
Okay,
3?
I don't care. I'm still going to ask a
5?
bunch of questions
All
here.
my DO people back there.
I am, and I've a lot
all
of
about
people
you.
have a lot of people are starting to go there. I totally agree with you. It's a great time. I was at a talk that you gave a couple weeks ago, and you totally mapped out how you kind of build the freemium org and how you think about mining freemium leads. I literally have a notebook full of it. Would you mind touching on just a little bit how you think about freemium and how you think from your initial prospecting strategy all the way through capturing that really important data?
Yeah. So the great thing about anytime you're giving away any part of the product for free, whether it's a little grader or whether it's the actual whole product, right, is you can capture a whole lot more information about the user or the prospect than you can from an MQL. Right? From an MQL, you have their name and their maybe their email address and like what white paper they downloaded, right? Or what conference they attended or what webinar they attended. That's kind of it. So it's not really an indication of interest. It's sort of an indication of like maybe I'm interested in the space. Maybe I went to that conference because I wanted the free stuff. I mean, I don't know. Right? So MQLs show some interest, but not a ton. But when you have people who are using the product, you can get an incredible amount of information. And if you're doing a good job in your sign-up process and in the way that your backend, your engineering in the backend actually captures usage, and if you're using something like Segment to like actually look at all of those actual triggers and the things that are happening in your product, and you have a ridiculous amount of information to prospect with, like a crazy amount of information. So, for instance, the way that Dropbox, was first SaaS company to $1 billion in revenue, I think, and we're fastest SaaS company to $1 billion in revenue. The way that they did it was they learned over time using data science that when they had more than 5 people at one company using Dropbox, then that was a compelling event enough for them to be able to go talk to somebody senior and say, you have 5 people using it and they're not taking advantage of the enterprise version when you can get collaboration and you can get security and other things, right? And so that was and they use that, it's a product trigger, right? They had a trigger that says once 5 people crossed, that was good enough to put an enterprise salesperson on it. The product trigger could be a certain feature that they've turned on, right? That indicates a propensity to spend, a certain amount of usage, right? A certain amount of users. And there's a million things that you can capture from the product that are going to indicate whether this person actually has propensity to spend or it has more interest. So at DO, DigitalOcean, we have a crazy amount of product data that we use to trigger what we call PQL, so the product qualified lead instead of a marketing qualified lead, right? And so that can be something like how much they're using it. It could be a spike or certain like something abnormal in the pattern of their usage. It can be number of team members. It can be a certain feature that they turn on or a certain add-on that they're using. It can be the way that for us, we have some insight into like the way people tag their servers, so we can use that. And there's just a plethora of information that can either help us identify who's a potential lead or for the CS team who can help us identify who's potentially going to churn. And so that's, there's not enough people, I think, leveraging all that rich data. It's hard to do, and then you can build a whole bunch of predictive models on it. You do need either a piece of software to help you do that or data science team.
Segment?
So Segment just actually captures all the usage, right? That doesn't do the predictive. For the predictive, we have our own data science team. I have my data science teams here. So we have our own data science team that has helped build that. But we're also looking, there's a couple vendors out there that do it, and so we're also looking to augment our own capability with some vendors. They're all kind of small right now because this whole PQL thing is a pretty new concept, and trying to use product data to predict you know, to find the right leads and trying to predict usage and things like that is a newer concept, but it's pretty cool. And but it does take like hacker and data science type people and data people to mine through all the data.